We continue to take a look at our downtown businesses and how they fared throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. And joining me now is the owner-operator of the Kingslea, Tony Lakroix. Welcome to the show, Tony.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for being here. The Kingsley was one of the newest additions to the downtown. It was open for about a month, and then bam,
Yep.
COVID hit. So let's start with March and what was going through your head at that moment.
At first, is like everyone else, we didn't really know. We had like a lot of information, but as like a business owner, we didn't really know what was happening. So we just, followed the rules, and they said shut down, and I did. Um, I didn't really do anything for like 2 weeks. I think like a lot of us were just like, oh, what's happening? And I got stir crazy after 2 weeks. This is not my first business in Cornwall, and I like working. So about 2 to maybe 3 weeks after we everyone had to shut down, I'm very good at sewing, so I started making fabric masks, and I had product in the store that I knew I could sell online. So I took a day and then I just built a online store and put products that were easy to ship and things that like socks and things that people didn't have to try on because I didn't want to create a back and forth. And then looked in my fabric stash and started making masks. And I'd make one, put it on the website, and then offered curbside pickup or delivery. And then I had to add shipping because I had requests from all over Canada asking for masks.
That's incredible, and for sure it was. I know on my social media, it was certainly there was a lot of people talking about those masks. And when you talk about things like that online store and curbside pickup and things like that, we know that even pre-COVID, the industry or business in general was sort of curving that way. And in order for a lot of downtown businesses to compete with, say, the big boys, the big
Mhm.
online retailers, this is sort of a blessing in disguise. Maybe you can talk about that and how this will help down the road for a lot of businesses that are local.
I think that, there's a lot of bad sides to what COVID has done to, not just the downtown, but the world. Um, the One of the good things it did is it has pushed people to step out of their comfort zone when it comes to running their business. Um, like one of the best advices that I got when I first opened my first business, like probably 15 years ago, was make sure that you can always pivot. And that means that you may have, like for me, a store with product that people come in, they try on, they like, they buy. But in order for me to pivot, because I didn't have a way to sell my clothing that I had in here. And, I made a few masks and gave them to a few friends, and I was like, oh, these are really nice. Are you selling them? And then, the business side of me said, yeah. And that's how it started. And that's how I was able to pivot, and just making masks. And the thing is that I was creating a product that people needed and they still need. It's not as much now because now you can find masks almost anywhere. But, I've been making masks for, I got over 3.5 months, almost 4 months.
Wow, that's incredible. For sure, you were one of the first. It was even before masks became mandatory, things like that. So a lot of people were. It was the first place they went. Now, when you talk about that downtown, obviously you've operated a variety of businesses there. Even though the Kingsley is brand new, you're certainly not to the downtown. Now, what did that experience do for you? You kind of mentioned it, but talk to me a little bit about how that experience helped you, especially with a new business.
Um, Again, having businesses in the city, and I'm not from here, but I'm starting to feel like I am from here because I've been here like over 10 years. And I've seen the downtown change in a very positive way. New business coming in and things that go back like 5 years. You said, oh, there's this type of business that's going to open downtown. Like people would say, like, you're crazy because that's never going to work. But the demographic is changing slightly in Cornwall. And the key to running a business here, and it's been the case for every single time, is to know who your customer is in Cornwall. There's all sorts of customers, so you can't just cater to just one demographic. You have to be able to spread your wings a little bit and just cater to as many people as possible because we don't have a large population here. If my store was say in Ottawa, well, that's a totally different story. I would be replenishing my shelves like every week. But here, because we have a smaller population base, you need to make sure that you're offering something that they don't have to go out of town for, because that's a big lesson that you'll learn especially a retailer in this city, is that, offer something they can't find somewhere else. Don't copy someone else. There's room for everyone to succeed, but you do your own thing.
Absolutely, and we know the downtown is a very tight knit community. So, was obviously now with everybody back open, there's opportunity for more conversation. But during the initial phase, was there a lot of conversation amongst you and some of your other neighbors or things like that? Were you keeping in touch or?
Well, the thing is, like, I was making the masks here. So what I had done is I literally had taken all of my sewing machines from the back workroom and I brought them in front. So I could see people walk by. There wasn't many people that would walk by. Some of my friends who owns businesses downtown, they didn't open right at the beginning. So then we'd keep in touch with them on Facebook and, Instagram, say, hey, how's it going? Just, offering, everyone was supporting each other. And, sometimes, like, beside me, I have Kids Corner. They stayed open for the duration. They never really closed. And, I would arrive in the morning and like chat with the owners, say with Kevin, but we were like, like a good, like 10 feet apart. And it's like, hey, how's it going? Good. And just, and, days that I wouldn't be there. And that just shows how close knit the downtown community is that like I'm closed Sunday, Monday. And say I was expecting a shipment on a Monday. Well, any driver, every courier knew that they could go to Kids Corner and drop it off there for me. And then they just send me a message on Facebook, hey, Tony, got a shipment. So they keep it for me until the next day, because that's what downtown retailers do, is we help each other out.
And that's part of what makes our downtown so special. So just finally, we know that, as you alluded to, the downtown has changed so much over the last 5 years, the last 10 years. It seemed like really it was about to pop, right before this. It had really entered into a renaissance. And this has maybe been a little bit of a setback, but it seems like most businesses have been able to come out of this a little bit stronger, or at least keep their heads above water. So where do we see the downtown? Obviously, there's no crystal ball, but how do we see the downtown coming out of this?
The thing is that the upswing that it was on, of course, COVID slowed it down. At one point, it completely, shut it down completely. But the thing is that, like everything will get better, and it's just the upswing that we were on. It's starting again, but it's slow, and that's normal. And it might take a bit of time for the town down to get back to where it was before, but it'll get there. I'm not worried.
Excellent. Well, Tony, I'd like to thank you for joining me and for sharing your experience and your wisdom. And as you alluded to, that the downtown is going to be back to where it was, and we'd love to see it, because we have a great downtown in Cornwall. And of course, it's always important to support local businesses and shop local.
Thank you.